G'day guys, Robbie Frame here from Athletic IQ, here for part 2 of our interview with Alan Aragon. Today's interview will specifically focus on nutrient timing, which I can appreciate would be something that would interest a lot of the viewers at home, and it certainly interests me, hence why I made a point of coming here today to ask a couple of questions. So Alan, obviously everyone out there wants to manipulate their body composition in some way, shape or form. And one of the key things that I personally want to do, and a lot of people at home want to do, is build muscle. One of the ways that we've been told to do that is through effective post-workout nutrition. Quite often we get told to have a protein shake immediately following our workout within a 20-minute window known as the anabolic window. And I know that that is a topic of conversation which can be quite debatable. So my question to you is there an anabolic window? There is an anabolic window, but that anabolic window is a lot more broad than people have painted it out to be. So we've actually ran we've looked at all of the studies on this topic, and we did what's called a meta-analysis. So it's a pooling of all the data from all of the relevant studies on this particular topic. So what we did was we compared studies that administered protein a minimum of 2 hours away from either side of the workout, of the resistance training workout, and that was compared with studies that administered protein within 1 hour, or so within the window, so within 1 hour of either side of the workout. So we got the anabolic nutrient timing type protocols, and we compared that with sort of non-timed protein. And so, we did not find any significant effect of timing the protein within that magic hour. But what we did find was that all of the effects could be attributed to total protein through the course of the day. Once that's optimized, then the shuffling of protein relative to the bout, at least within the parameters we looked at, didn't matter. Now, this is not to say that some detrimental effects can happen if you wait significantly longer than 2 hours after the training bout, but certainly we didn't find any reason to rush to the locker room and do that whey dextrose slammer, after your last set of squat rack curls. So is there an optimal peri or post workout time frame for carb consumption for muscle protein synthesis, or? That's a good question. What we try to get across is that instead of looking at specifically the post-workout period, we try to get people to grasp the concept of the peri-workout period, which is the time frame between the pre-workout meal and the post-workout meal. So that would be essentially 2 to 3 hours for very small meals, and up to 4 to 6 hours for large meals. Especially the large pre-workout meal isn't going to peak in the blood until like 1, sometimes 2 hours after you ingest it. So there's a lot less urgency to, not miss the window afterwards if you have a substantial hit of, especially protein. Protein would be the main driver of anabolism in these things, whereas carbohydrate, if there's issues with trying to resynthesize glycogen as quickly as possible for multi-stage endurance athletes, for example, then great. Otherwise, the anabolic effect of adding carbs to protein on muscle protein synthesis is pretty much nil once the protein dose is high enough. So once that protein dose reaches the so-called leucine threshold, which is possible by at least 20-25 grams of high-quality protein or more, then the addition of carbohydrate to that won't, at least acutely, increase the anabolic effect of the meal. So. Okay. So how important is nutrient timing then for performance and strength development?
I think that it kind of depends on the level of the athlete and who you're talking about here. So we've got a continuum of importance of nutrient timing and how much it actually works. So typical guy who's a desk jockey, wants to go from a keg to a blurry two-pack.
For that population, any sort of focus on anything beyond the like end of the day totals through a just reasonable distribution is pretty much nil.
The focus is to focus on the big picture rather than getting bogged down in hitting a certain meal at a particular time of the day.
Yeah.
So it's looking at the big picture rather than looking at the minor detail, especially for that stage.
For that population. Now, for athletes, it gets a little trickier, because some guys may be doing 2-a-days, where you may be hitting the same muscle group, or either directly or indirectly, more than once in a day.
Yeah.
And for those guys, then you would want to perhaps sandwich the fuels, at specific times to maximize training performance and recovery, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it really depends. It depends.
Yeah. So, take-home message for everyone at home: what is the most important thing to remember about nutrient timing? Then.
Yeah. The most, what most people would want to remember about nutrient timing is, number one, hit your macronutrient totals by the end of the day.
Okay.
And number two, if you can get protein dosed for the guys with a primary goal of gaining muscle, they would somewhere between 3 and 4 dosings minimum through the course of the day.
Okay.
And because it does matter, I mean, you're not going to be maximizing your rates of muscle gain if you're ingesting your protein over, 2 meals in the course of a day.
Okay, so you hear anywhere between 6 to 8 meals? Versus, and what you're probably saying there is 3 to 4 meals spread over the course of the day.
At minimum. At minimum. I don't see any maximal. I wouldn't tell if somebody wants to eat 8 times a day. Great, have at it.
Yeah.
But for somebody with the specific goal of maximizing the rates of muscle gain, I don't think it's going to happen in less than 3 protein-rich meals in a day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. One other question I had was regarding supplements, which should form the icing on the cake being, of course, the food first and foremost.
Yeah.
How important do you think supplements are for the regular gym goer and then also for athletes that are trying to perform to the highest level?
I think that there are supplements that have enough scientific backing to say that they work. I mean, for example, creatine, caffeine, to a little bit lesser degree, beta-alanine, and there are other things that are kind of on the fence, like HMB. And of course, if you want to call carbohydrate and electrolytes a supplement, you can call it that. I mean, that would be essential for the endurance element because of the available fuel stores that are threatened during endurance type events. But I think that athletes who are dieting, certainly they run the risk of being deficient in a range of essential nutrients, micronutrients included. And so I think that athletes, and specifically athletes in the physique sports, and of course, the performance sports, that supplementation would be necessary if you want to maximize performance and you want to maximize adaptations. But like you said, it's the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
You've got the cake, get the cake straight first, and then, the icing will enhance things.
Yeah.
Sure.
Excellent. Cool. All right, guys. I hope you've taken a lot out of that, because I certainly have. Alan, thank you very much for coming down under.
Thank
really
you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Phenom, sir.
He knows what to say. And thanks, guys. That's about it.